My name is Xalle Zellerat, and today, together with my colleagues, I will tell you something more, in-depth information about the countries we have chosen to investigate on. I would like you to know that in 2004, the European Union adopted an Anti-Discrimination Act. This act makes it illegal to discriminate on the basis of sexual orientation in a wide variety of areas, including employment, housing, social care, and the provision of goods and services. In 2013, the European Criminal Code was amended to include the sexual orientation as a ground for hate crimes, allowing penalty enhancements where a crime is motivated to homophobia. In 1991, Bulgaria was the first country to ban same-sex marriage. Since then, 11 countries have followed, one being Slovakia, which I will discuss later on. The so-called LGBT persons, being the lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender persons, may face legal challenges. Bulgaria is an example of a country in Central and Eastern Europe that tends to be socially conservative when it comes to issues of homosexuality. In Bulgaria and Slovakia, same-sex couples' households do not have the same rights as opposite couples and do not have the same legal protection. Roman Catholic Slovakia is more conservative on issues dealing with LGBT rights. On 4 June 2014, the Slovak parliament approved a constitutional amendment to ban same-sex marriage. On this amendment, 75% of the people voted in favor. This gives a clear overview on how Slovakia thinks about this topic. Furthermore, a referendum was held on 7 February from this year. The referendum was on banning same-sex marriage. Another time, the majority of the people voted against gay marriage. However, this referendum has been declined since only 21.4% of the citizens showed up to vote, despite conservative groups who spent €110,000 on this campaign. Bulgarians have a fairly conservative attitude towards homosexuality. There is no legal recognition of same-sex couples in Bulgaria, and Bulgarians compare favorably to other European countries in terms of racial attitudes.
Hello, my name is Lucy and I come from Slovakia, which is in Central Europe. The view on gay marriages, being gay, bisexual, transsexual is not prohibited, it's not criminalized. However, there was a referendum which took place in February where 90% of Slovak population voted against the same-sex couples marriages and also against the adoption by these couples. I believe this is because there's strong influence by the Catholic Church, and also another reason may be because there's tension between young generation and old population, where the young people, of course, they lean to be more liberal. So I believe there will be change eventually, but still it will maybe take about a decade.
Goody, jij hier Maarten van Kampenhout, and I will talk about the Nordic countries, so Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Finland and Iceland, and I will elaborate more on the same-sex marriage and gender equality in these countries. Nordic countries are the best performing countries considering equality in gender and the acceptation of minorities. I want to start with the same-sex marriage in these countries. Since this year, same-sex marriage has been legalized in all Nordic countries. In Finland, the law has been signed in February of this year, but will not take effect until March 2007.
In Finland, the law of the gay marriage just got legalized recently, so in general, people are pretty open-minded about it, but there are still some people who don't really accept it and who thinks it's a strange thing. And generally, I think people can be pretty openly in the streets with their boyfriends or girlfriends, but I think there are more people who actually don't show it in the streets, because I think it's still not really acceptable.
Hola, my name is Valerie van Straten and I will elaborate more on same-sex marriage and gender equality in South of Europe. Spain became the third country in the world after the Netherlands and Belgium to legalize same-sex marriage. After being elected in June 2004, Spanish Prime Minister José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero restated his pre-election pledge to push for legislation of same-sex marriage. On the 1st of October 2004, the Spanish government approved a bill to legalize same-sex marriage, including adoption rights. The bill received full parliamentary approval on 30th of June 2005 and passed into law on 2nd July, becoming fully legal on 3rd July. Polls suggest that 62% to 66% of Spain supports same-sex marriage.
I think gay marriage in Spain is, in general, is more accepted. I'm from Barcelona, from a big city, so there is really normal, and I know a lot of gay people there. But maybe in the smaller towns it's not so much well seen.
In Bulgaria, women take more responsibility for the housework, the childcare and care of elderly relatives when compared to men. Flexible working arrangements are not common practice, and people in Bulgaria face a lot of difficulties maintaining a work-life balance, which influences their satisfaction with their quality of life. Almost 60% of Bulgarians consider that work is more important than free time. In Bulgaria, the gender pay gap is 13% and is same as Slovakia, under the EU average. The employment rate of women is 56.3% and is therefore close to the EU average. In Slovakia, the gender pay gap is 20.5%, which is significantly above the EU average. Furthermore, the employment rate in the Slovak labor market is 52.7%, which is below the EU average of 58.6%. We can conclude that on equality, both Eastern European countries do not meet the average of other EU countries.
Okay, so Bulgarians' opinion on gay marriage is that it's not acceptable. In Bulgaria, it is strictly prohibited for two gay people to get married, no matter how far they're willing to go to do it. Bulgaria has a constitutional ban on this matter, and it is not possible for two people from same sex to get married, no matter what.
A recent report has revealed that Italy is the worst state among continental European countries in terms of gender pay equality, with women earning significantly less than men for similar work. The presence of women in technical and business positions is increasing, although it is still relatively unusual to find them in the highest position of an organization. Only 38% of Italian women under 65 are in the labor in Italy.
The gay marriage in Italy is not accepted, and it's 100 times that I'm recording this video. But okay, so the gay marriage is not accepted in Italy, and I think that's because of the church power that we have by the Vatican in Italy. But I think that in other side, about the people, the Italian people, are starting to accept the gay couple. So I think that could be in a few years we will accept the gay marriage.
Talking about the gender equality in the Nordic countries. According to the global rankings in gender equality of the World Economic Forum, all 5 countries which you can consider as Nordic countries are in the top 5 in best performing countries in gender equality. Iceland is first, Finland second, Norway third, Sweden fourth, and Denmark fifth. Unfortunately, our colleague Priya Verdi wasn't able to make it today because she quitted with the study. So I'm taking over her part of the gay marriage in the UK. Same-sex marriage is allowed by law in the UK with the exception of Northern Ireland. The legislation to allow same-sex marriage in England and Wales was passed in July 2013 and put into force on 13 March 2014. Legislation to allow same-sex marriage in Scotland was passed in February 2014 and was put into force in December 2014. The The Northern Ireland Executive, however, has stated that it does not intend to introduce legislation allowing same-sex marriage in Northern Ireland. But luckily, since May 2015, so this year, same-sex marriage will soon be legal.
So, as my colleague already said, we're taking over Priya's part, and I will elaborate on the same-sex marriage in the Netherlands. So, the Netherlands is the first ever country in the world to legalize same-sex marriage. It has been legal since 1st April 2001. Already in the mid-1980s, a group of gay activists asked the government to allow same-sex couples to marry. The parliament decided in 1995 to create a special commission to investigate the possibility of same-sex marriages. The special commission finished their investigation in 1997 and came to the conclusion that civil marriage should be extended to include same-sex couples. So, in 1998, the government promised to handle the issue, and in September 2000, the final legislation draft was debated in the Dutch parliament. According to the IFOP poll, 85% of the Dutch supported allowing same-sex couples to marry and adopt children.
Ciao.
There's a very controversial.
Jij hier de Maarten van Kampenhout. I will talk more about so. Ik kan het gewoon niet.
Take more responsibility for the housework. The child. So.
Yeah.
Now I would like to... Nee. Same-sex marriage.
Elaborate. Oh yes!